My name is Jahbreil Campbell. I'm an intern with Planet LA Records.
My name is Jowanna Lewis. I am the founder and producer of the LA Music Video Awards. I am also the owner of Simply Podcasting.
Great. Hi, Jowanna. Thanks for being here today. I wanted to ask you to explain just briefly a bit about your background.
Wow. My background is incredibly varied, and up until the last 3 years, it was a very different story. I always joked that I had a Superman and Clark Kent life, where in the daytime I was an accountant, very boring by the numbers person, and then at night I was out at shows interviewing bands. So I've had the pleasure of living in both worlds. And up until 3 years ago, I was doing that, and then decided to venture out and do my own thing, and left the corporate world and now run a podcasting agency called Simply Podcasting.
Amazing. Yeah, and I am very interested in your different experiences. Your podcast definitely being one. And I know you've been running your podcast for quite a while now. I was wondering, how have you seen the podcast space change over the years? And what adjustments have you made to adapt to that change?
Yes, the podcasting landscape has changed so much, especially in the past, I want to say 4 or 5 years. When Joe Rogan made his big deal with Spotify, that was the moment that everything changed. Because when I first started podcasting all those years ago, a lot of people didn't know what podcasts were. And it was funny, even when I was approaching bands and saying, hey, I'm starting this podcast and this is what I want to do, there was an enthusiasm because a lot of these bands were indie bands and they were just excited that somebody wanted to pay attention to them. But there was also this, well, wait, what exactly are you trying to do? And is it on the radio? And it's like, no, it's on Apple. It's on iTunes, and they have podcasts. And it was such a kind of a niche thing that a lot of people just didn't quite grasp what it was. And then fast forward a lot of years later, a lot of companies started looking at podcasting as a possible avenue for marketing. And then once the pandemic hit, it was like the floodgates opened, and podcasting really became something that a lot of companies had to embrace, because it was very difficult for companies to go in and try to sell somebody a product when we were all sitting at home. A lot of people had lost their jobs. A lot of people didn't want to be sold something. They wanted to all of a sudden have a relationship with the brands that they knew and understand. And so a lot of companies had to pivot and say, hey, look, we can't just keep throwing out these 30-second commercials. One, a lot of people made that leap from regular TV and cable to just using online platforms like Netflix and Disney Plus and HBO Max and stuff like that. So there was that aspect that we had to take care of. And then there was also this, and a lot of people are moving towards podcast, and companies had to look at what podcasts were and how they can fit into that landscape. And the funniest thing, I always say that I work with companies who handed this project off to their marketing department, and their marketing department is like, hey, look, I'm not a podcaster, I'm a marketing person. So the challenge now is, how do you create content as a business that keeps your customers engaged, but maybe not necessarily is constantly doing the hard sell? Because now your goal is to do a little bit of a soft sell and to make it seem like you are a leader in the industry.
Wow. Thank you for that. Yeah, that was really insightful. I've definitely seen that change. Even myself, just being a somewhat recent college graduate, I haven't had as much exposure to thinking about it in a professional setting. But even recently, I have a good amount of friends now who are starting their own podcasts. And, even as a joke, I feel like nowadays people be like, I'm going to start a podcast, or like, I want to talk about this. Or it's like great that so many people know that that's a valid format for them to be able to share their feelings about something, or kind of build a culture around whatever kind of media or art or whatever their passion is. So I definitely think that's interesting.
It's great. I love what I do. And I always say that I'm an archiver now, because a lot of what I do as far as podcasting is concerned is, I've got clients who are witches and have created this whole show based on witches and fairies and all things, as she calls it, woo. So it's so different for me. And then in that same day, I might edit a show that is dealing with business strategies and women in business. And so there's so much of that I get to experience now that I absolutely love, because it's not just, all day, I'm just listening to music, but I get to spend part of my day listening to music, and then part of my day learning something completely different, and then part of my day shifting gears completely. And it's like, okay, I need to record a show today about coffee. I'm not even a coffee drinker, but I created months of content for a coffee company. So I had to learn everything I could about coffee, because I had to talk about it for 30 minutes each week. And we did it for months. It was great.
That sounds amazing. It definitely gives you that leeway to just learn more about something that you might hate, or you might not have ever thought you'd be talking about this so much in your life.
Right.
And kind of going to the next question with skills that you've learned. You've also been running the LA Music Video Awards for quite a while now. And I'm wondering, what skill have you gained from running an awards show that you think translates into your everyday life?
I've been doing the LA Music Video Awards show now for 5 years. And when I first started doing the award show, I had never done anything like it. I am one of these people, my whole world consists of two of the most dangerous words when put together, and that's why not? And then the other phrase that I live on is, how hard can this be? And so there was never, I always feel like I could reverse engineer things. And so when I started the award show, that was the first thing I wanted to do was, it's like, okay, I want to do this award show. Let's start at the end and reverse engineer how to get from where I want to be to where I'm at now. And that is definitely something that I've used for every large project that I've ever done now, is I start at the end and work backwards. So with the award show, it was like, okay, I envisioned having this show with this step and repeat banner that people were going to be behind, and it all of a sudden the list started happening. It's like, okay, I need to get a step and repeat banner. I need to figure out what we're going to call the show. I need to find a venue. I need to get trophies. I need to do this. I need to do that. And just taking that step back and saying, okay, for an award show, I need music videos. How do I get them? And being able to do the research to do that, and looking outside of the box, because again, I always say, take a peek at what other people are doing, but don't let what they're doing discourage you. Because a lot of people, they get so discouraged, especially when they're trying to start something new, like a podcast, like an award show, like making music videos. If you're looking at what the professionals are doing, you can, the first thing a lot of people say is, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. And it's like, you know what, that's okay. Just peek at what they did. They're like, man, that looks great. My goal is to be like that. When I started the award show, my goal was to bring back the anticipation and joy that I used to feel every time the MTV did their music video, like the MTV Music Video Awards. I wanted to recreate that. And I wanted to recreate that feeling of excitement. And so it was like, okay, for me, that was the gold standard. And I knew I wasn't going to get there year one. But I felt like maybe by year 5 or 6, who knows where we'll be. Maybe we'll be at a great venue and it'll be a lot of stars all of a sudden there, and it would be exciting. So I always say, take a peek at what other people are doing. Don't let that discourage you, because they didn't start where they were at. year one. I mean, if you ever look at some of the pictures from like the first Oscars, it's like, oh, wow, look at how far they came. When you look at the first MTV Music Video Awards, when you look at where that started and where that ended up, it's just so crazy. And so you can start off in the small bar with 10 categories and maybe 50 people showing up, and move into the big theater and all of that other stuff. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to start. And don't worry about your first year. It's going to suck. No matter what happens. Year one, it's like I really don't know what's happening. The first time you do anything, it's not going to be perfect because you don't know what you're doing. And that's okay. And I think that so many people don't get started with projects, or they get so intimidated that they can't pull the trigger because they get it's not going to be perfect. It's like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's supposed to be crap. It's your first one. Let your second one get better. And then your third one get better. And then by year 5, you're like, look at where I'm at. This is great. I'm reaching the pinnacle of where I want to be. And then start shooting higher. But don't get discouraged because you're not the Grammys or you're not the you're not the Oscars. It's okay. Let it be okay.
Completely. That's amazing advice. And actually, I used to have a professor in college. He gave us advice that was fail forward, be able to fail forward. And, there's a lot of quotes like that where it's like, you can't fail if you're learning something from that experience. And you should be expecting that failure, but learn how to make that applicable to you so you can grow from that, as you continue to work at whatever you're working at.
If you're not failing on some level, then you're not really trying. Like, there's got to be something that makes you uncomfortable. The first award show, I didn't know what I was doing at all. And I was in an absolute panic because I had some technical difficulties that first show, but we pulled it off. And it was like, that was amazing, and was so excited about it. And then it just kept, okay, next time I wanted this really cool venue. And then COVID hit. And it was like, well, what am I supposed to do? I don't want to not have this event. I guess we'll make it virtual. And to go from doing a live event to a virtual event, to me, it was night and day different. And so being able to be adaptable like that, it really matters. And not being like, okay, well, I can't tell you how many things got canceled because of COVID, because people couldn't think outside of the box. They couldn't say, hey, this isn't working and I don't know how to do this otherwise. And I'll tell you a really funny story. So 2020, COVID's fantastic year. We are doing the award show, and I have I use this really cool platform. It's got meeting rooms for people to go off and network and do all this stuff. Like, in my head, this thing is gorgeous. Like, this platform has been built out. It is amazing. I needed like a couple of hundred logins just for the people to be able to watch it. The company had blocked off all of the logins for the artist and didn't give me any other logins. So no one could log into the event, including the artist. So it had pretty much locked everybody out of the event. Okay. And so here it is, an hour before the event starting, and I'm trying to figure out why nobody can register. I'm trying to spot test and get all the rooms ready, because it was multiple rooms. Like, it was going to be, one room was going to have the show itself, and the other room was going to be just playing music videos over and over again, like all of the music videos. So this whole night was planned. And what ended up happening was the whole thing crashed about an hour before the event started. And to the point where I was having to send here's the Zoom link. I'm going to just put this up on Zoom. I had people who had bought tickets for the online show, who had paid for them. And I was just like, this is where we're at now. This is just what we're doing. And to be able to, and it was funny because people were logging in, they were still chatting on the chat box and still connecting and still planning to make stuff together and collaborate. And it was everything that I still wanted to have happen. It just wasn't the way that I expected it to be. And because I was able to kind of just roll with the punches on that, it was okay. It was like, oh, well, this is how it goes. So here's where we're at this point. I mean, it was to the point where I was in front of my camera recording stuff on a pre-recorded show to explain to everybody what was going on.
Wow.
So,
I mean, that's really commendable still. You really just moving forward with that, and you had that end goal in mind. You're like, look, I want this experience to be something special. And I did all this work to set it up to be this one thing, and it can't be that anymore. And what can I do to still, leave that impression with people that, this is their night out on Zoom tonight,
Yeah, it was. And you had people, people were sending me pictures of them having parties at their houses, sitting there with their like wine and cheese, and the family was around to see if they won. And, people will acknowledge huge stars and huge filmmakers, but there's still this whole, people have to get to that point. And so why not take the time to acknowledge these people who are crazy talented? It may never get an opportunity to say, hey, look, this is what I can do other than this award show. And so I always want there to be a situation where somebody can say, hey, look, I was in the LA Music Video Award Show. I won Best Country Music Video. We knocked it out the park. This is the video, and just be proud of what they've done. Or that student who's like, hey, this was my final, and I submitted it, and hey, we're moving forward, and I won, and it's great. Or I didn't, but did you see the videos I lost to? So,
right. And you've definitely touched on this already, giving a lot of amazing advice. But my last question for you is, what advice do you have for getting into the podcast or event production world?
My advice is to just do it. And don't be afraid. If you want to do an event, there is somebody out there who's going to see your vision. Someone's going to get it. Someone's going to say, you know what? That sounds nuts. I'm 100% on board. And you would be amazed at how many people are secretly rooting for you. Everybody takes this very pessimistic. No, your fans are secretly haters or whatever. No, there are people out there who want to help, because there's people out there who still love art and who still love the idea of things. And if you can come to them and say, hey, look, I want to do this event, just go for it. And don't worry if the first one is awful. It's okay. The first one, nobody's expecting it to be very good. Everybody's just excited. Everybody's just happy to be there. Your first podcast is terrible. My first podcast was awful. It was so bad. And it took me 2 hours to record 30 minutes of audio because I didn't know what I was doing. I had a Kmart karaoke microphone, and it was awful. It was so awful. But it was okay, because it was like, okay, this was the first one, and let's see what happens next week. And then it's got to get better at some point. And the second piece of advice I would give people is, when you have that setback, and you will, don't give up. Don't let the minor setback, don't let COVID and your event having to be postponed a bunch and then it not really being exactly what you want, or don't let you throw in an event and almost nobody's showing up. Don't let things like that discourage you. Just keep going. Take that. Everybody has to take that lick. Take the lick and then move forward and say, okay, that bruise, it hurt my little ego. My heart's a little broken. I need a day or two to reassess and then move forward and be like, okay, this is where we're at now. And then build it better. Build the better mousetrap. So Amazing. That's my advice.
Amazing. Thank you. I'll definitely be following that myself. I know a lot of other people who see this and listen to this interview will do the same. So Thank you so much. I
Thanks.
appreciate your time today, Jowanna. Definitely, everybody, be on the lookout for the LA Music Video Awards show, and that's in September, right?
Yes, it is in September. We are now open. So we are accepting new submissions, and that'll be until mid-June, and then the award show will be in September. The award show is based both on a judges panel as well as popular votes. So yeah, if you've got a film out there, the newest category that we added in honor of our 5th anniversary is best music video created in the last 5 years. So it's not even limited to the music videos for this year. So for 2021. So if you've got something out there and you want people to see it, send it, submit, make it happen. Just take a chance on yourself.
Definitely. And thank you so much for your time today, Jowanna.
Thank you. Thanks so much. This has been incredibly great. I wish you the best of luck. I wish, everybody out there, if you guys have some crazy ideas that you need to bounce off a perfect stranger, look me up. I will be happy to listen to them and give some honest feedback.